Hello and welcome to Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. Today's gonna be a short one. I'm just gonna show you my Advent socks, which are scrappy and exciting. So I'm trying to make this short so I can also upload it to Instagram because I haven't done that in ages. Here they are. It is December 7th today, and I have knit 2 stripes a day, pretty much. Been a couple days where I've just knit one. And I started on November 27th because Advent actually started on November 28th. And I know that secular Advent starts on December 1st, but I am very committed to Advent starting on the first Sunday of Advent. So I start my socks on first Sunday of Advent too, except I actually started on Saturday because it's like Advent Eve. It's like New Year's Eve for Anglicans. And Catholics probably. I'm not really sure what other denominations do about Advent, but yeah, we freaking live for Advent. So these are scrappy. I have so much scrap yarn that I thought it was silly to buy yarn, to buy a self-striping skein, just because this would just be more useful to kind of get rid of this. The lighting, as always, is a little weird, but I think you can see the sock pretty well. I'm trying to make it as random as possible. So like you can tell that's pretty funky. There's a lot of different stuff. Most of it is dyed by me, but a lot of it is also like Shibui sock, and there's some like nettle yarn in there. There's Farmer's Daughters leftovers. There's various bases. You've got, actually right now I'm going to pause this like for me here, and I'm going to switch the perspective and show you, what's in front of me on the table, my mini skeins. I recorded this several days ago. I've tried to record this video a bunch of times and it's just always been like too long because I ramble. So I'm gonna cut myself off earlier this time. And then I'm gonna share some details about these socks and how you can make your own. Okay, so here we go. My glasses are over there and so is Lopi. I was just filming a video on Lopi. Okay, so I've got a lot here, a lot going on. So this is just like random scraps from like a bucket. So I started with the warms, and I started with like reds and pinks, and then I went to oranges and yellows, and sometimes there's variegated stuff in here. Those are some light greens. This is the white that I'm using for my heels and toes. These are all self-striping, so I'm not using those in my socks right now. That one's not though. So there's like some teals, a lot of green, going into green blue, kind of purpley. There's some neutrals back there. Got some more variegated. I got a bunch of pinks. Over here, there's Voldemort. There's some more Lopi, and there's like a hat, and there's my winder. Yeah, so there's like, that looks orange here, but that's pink. It's like a salmon pink. So I've got lots of choices, as you can see. So I laid them out this way just for Advent so that I could be picking colors every day. So that it would be kind of easier to just find what I needed and things wouldn't be so tangled. So I'm going to switch the perspective back to me now. So I'm back. You saw all my sock yarn. You saw 75-25 4-ply, some yak, which is 70% yak, 70% merino, 20% yak, 10% nylon, lots of 80-20. This is a Hawthorne fingering from Knit Picks. There's some random stuff. This is amble, which is like part alpaca, part nylon, eco-friendly superwash, lots of stuff. Some BFL high twist. Yeah, so here's the deets on these socks. Number one, it is a top down, cuff down sock with a heel flap and gusset, 64 stitches. I almost always do socks with 64 stitches. So 64 stitches, 15 rounds of 2x2 rib, and each stripe is 6 rounds of knitting. Oh my gosh, okay. I hate that sound, so I'm just gonna put those, I just put them in there. And then hopefully we won't have to deal with that sound anymore. The base white here is, this is Hawthorne fingering, or Hawthorne sock from Knit Picks and Bear. This is a little thicker than your standard 80-20 blend, which you'd get from pretty much any indie dyer. This one's from Rove Yarn Co. in Staunton, Virginia. The colorway's Queen City. Or, yeah, basically I hand dyed a lot of this. So like there's a standard 80-20. It's a little You can't see it, but this is a little thinner than this one. The yardage might be the same, but there's probably just more air in this and it's a little plumper. You will get more yardage generally with a 75-25 4-ply base like this guy. You'll get like 400 yards per 100 grams of 80-20, and you'll get like 460 yards if you get a 4-ply. Knit picks like Felici sock yarn would be kind of like in the middle of there. It'd be like 200 and I think Stroll has 230 something. No, it's not Stroll. There's some in here somewhere. And Felici's like 218 per 50 grams. So with Stroll, you're getting the full like 460 total. And with Felici, which is the self-striping, you're getting like 240-ish. I think it's 436 if you get the bare 100 grams. It's 2 times 50 grams, which is how much you get if you get the self-striping ball. Yeah, so I weave in my ends, or I knit my ends in as I go. And if you want a great tutorial, there's one linked below. It is by Earth Tones Girl, Denise. She's great. She's like sock wizard, absolutely fantastic, and really, really, really knowledgeable. And she's got tons of YouTube videos on sock tips, and like basically has a whole sock class for free on YouTube. She's also got a super cool pattern called the Shadow Wrap Heel, which is kind of like a short row heel. I think that every knitter really needs to knit socks a few times to kind of figure out their preferred heel construction and how their, what's their preferred heel to fit on their actual foot. So I like the heel flap and gusset because it gives you some extra room. Basically what happens is that you knit a flap back and forth. That's this part of it. Then you do this little turn with short rows where you do this. The little, for your actual heel, goes right there. And then you've got these stitches along the heel flap that you then pick up. And then you join it in the round again and start knitting with whatever color, next color, I guess. That was when I switched to the gold here. So then you've got way more stitches than you started with. And so you create these gussets by decreasing on either side of the heel until you have the same number of stitches you started with on the back of the leg. I did 60 rounds or 10 stripes on the leg before I started the heel. Yeah. So again, these aren't specifically Christmassy, they're specifically random. And I love that. I thought they were really fun. And I like them so much, and it's really not that hard to do a stripe a day, that I'm thinking of just continuing doing a stripe a day on scrappy socks for all of 2022, because I have so much scrap yarn, as you just saw, and like I knit socks all the time and I add more scrap yarn to this pile. So like, because usually you have some kind of leftovers after you knit a pair of socks. So yeah, I'm thinking of doing like, pink ones for my friend Lauren who loves pink, and whatever. My friend Lauren specifically loves pink, and like lots of my friends like different colors, but she's like the first one that always comes to mind. She loves pink. I always knit her pink stuff. And got lots of blues, got lots of greens, lots of oranges also. Like could do just like fiery socks, like bright colors. That'd be kind of fun. I could do a fade. That would be fun. Maybe I'll do like a rainbow fade. Yeah, basically create your own self-striping colorways by doing this. And again, if you knit in your ends as you go, you don't have to weave them in at the end. You just want to leave them. You want to leave them not clipped, so you want to leave them in there. And then put them on the blockers, like, wash it, put it on the blocker, and then snip the ends when you're done. And to close all the holes along the side where you're changing colors, you might want to just give it a little tug. It might look like it puckers, and if it looks like that, I wouldn't worry too much. Before you put it on the blocker or put it in the wash, just like put it on your foot, and then also try and put it on a blocker right away. Like when you first wash it, you don't have to put them on blockers every time you wash socks, but you should do the first time just to kind of even out that, wiggle those ends into place. That'll really work. And this is a 64 stitch sock with a heel flap and gusset and just like a wedge toe. So most people just think of that as a vanilla sock, and you can actually find a vanilla sock recipe like tons of them. I think the Kay, the crazy sock lady, she's got a great one. Super simple, easy to follow. She's really straightforward. And she's got them for like all the different types of like not construction needle types. So like she has short circulars, she has double pointed needles. She might have 24-inch circulars, like 2 24-inch circulars. I've never done that. I don't even know how it works. And I don't like the short circulars because my pinkies get really sore. But I recommend trying them. So I do magic loop. I usually use a 32-inch cord now instead of, this is a 40-inch cord. Oh, and I have 2 of these. I completely forgot. I am doing them 2 at a time. There we go. 2 at a time. It's just easier because, like I said, I have a lot of minis, and the more, the more I like stripes I knit and the more minis I collect, the more I'll easily forget. This is my screenshot for YouTube, which ones I used. So yeah, I recommend doing them at the same time if you have 2 different needles. I have like 2 40-inch ones and then 2 32-inch ones. These are both on the 40. 32-inch is definitely great if you do afterthought heels, or short row heels. But 40 is a little, like 32 does get a little tight if you're doing a heel flap and gusset because you've got so many more stitches when you get to the heel flap. But otherwise, it's not terrible. It totally works. Yeah, I used to always use 40, and then I tried 32 once and I was like, oh, this is better. Yeah. And I use a US 1 or 2.25 millimeter. And one of the things that I kind of like about these is that because it's strappy, I do 6 rounds for each color, but not all the yarns are the same thickness. And so you kind of get different, slightly different widths, and it's kind of fun. Yeah. But these are a good gift, you know, if you knit them throughout the year. Just like, you can make really scrappy ones. You can make the stripes as thick or as thin as you want. I would consider making like slightly thicker ones, just get the socks done faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you could do 10 round stripes, or like maybe 12 round stripes, like double thick stripes, or even thinner ones. Self-striping yarns really vary. I find Felici, actually I don't know, because I think I've only ever knit Felici self-striping in DK socks, which have fewer stitches per sock. It's like 48 stitches around instead of 64, at least for a women's sock. I would use 52 stitches for a men's sock for reference. If you're looking for a DK sock pattern, I would recommend checking out the Thicksgiving socks by Summer Lee. Oh, and she just released the Thickness socks, which is like another round of DK patterns, and some of them are really similar, but then she's got like a cabled one, and she shows you how to do a reverse stockinette one, which is super funky also. And you are knitting, you're not purling the whole time, you're just like flipping it inside out, which is cool. But yeah, Felici looks like this. Oh no, I don't have any in balls. Felici is like 50 grams. Knit Picks just came out with new Felici colors, and I saw them on Knit All the Yarn podcast, and I want them. But again, I want like the whole, you know, I want the value packs because I'm me, and I'm excessive, and it's like 10 colors or something, and you gotta buy 2 because then you get full pairs of socks. And it's not that expensive. It's like, I mean, it's like $55 for a value pack because it's 20% off right now or something. And I was like, wow, that's really tempting, except where would I put them? Like, that's a serious concern of mine. Like, there's just nowhere to put them. Of course, the boiler just turned on. Yeah, so real issues. We only deal with the real struggles in my world, clearly. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna do this one next. I'm just like, now that I'm down here, I'm like, I better choose like the next colors. Yeah, I've been going down to one stripe a day like kind of recently, but just because I've been like working on other patterns. But yeah, my next one's gonna be this really bright green. It's kind of hard to see. There's a bigger, no, blown out. There you go. It's like this kind of bright Kelly green. I think that's Kelly green. It's kind of turquoise. And then the next one, I think I'm gonna do this light orange. I've been trying to get rid of this light orange for months. I got it in January. I made a whole pair of socks with it, and I still have so much left. So I think that's it for the Advent socks. I really encourage you to try this with your sock scraps because it's fun and it's random and it's a good time. So yeah, and you know, build your own color palettes. You know, tag me on Instagram or something. I want to see them. I love seeing scrappy palettes. It's really fun. So thank you for watching, and this has been Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. Bye!